Well, hello, guys. Hope you had a wonderful Easter. I wanted to get this show going and kind of following after the Moriel when when my dad went to pick up my mom's family from Cuba. And this is going to be a little personal, but I'm at the point in my life where I don't care anymore and I could talk about my life and what I've been through without feeling shame, if that makes any sense. So my topic here is going to be today about Kristi Noem and Charlie Kirk's wife, Erika. So I don't know if you've seen my little shorts, but I had some issues with the phone and I was pretty much all week between the Apple store and Comcast, my carrier. And I was scrolling and I'm looking at all these insults towards Erika and the stuff with Kristi Noem too. And it got me thinking about my own life. Sorry. It got me thinking about my own life and some of the stuff I've been through and why I cannot make a short or a video and about these two powerful women because even the best of them gets knocked down every now and then. So let's talk about Kristi Noem. She's been married for 30 years. She and her husband have children together. This is not a fling. This is not a short-term thing. This is decades of shared life. Now she was governor before Trump got her into the position that she was fired from. So I'm assuming she had a pretty busy life. And, with having a partner of 30 years, you would think, after 30 years that everybody is on the up and up. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Sometimes you just don't know who you're living with. And I know because it happened to me not once, but twice. So now there are claims circulating online about her husband. People are talking about cross-dressing and other personal behaviors. Couldn't it be true? Maybe. Has it been confirmed? Not by any credible news outlet, but I'm old enough to know that where there's smoke, there's fire. But the shatter is real. People are joking, mocking, judging, and that's what hurts. And that's what brought up a lot of why I couldn't and I cannot talk about them in a fun way just for the clicks or even to make fun. I just don't want to go there. I want to keep bringing you the stories of the victims, and that's what I'm about. And these are my opinions, and because I've lived them, I feel like I could talk about them. And I have a lot of skeletons in my closet. I told you that the first time I came about, and my children are grown. I could start releasing some of these past stories and how I, in many ways, have a lot in common with these two women. The reaction, not just the story, it's what cuts deep. Kristi is likely hurting. I mean, whether we like it or not. She's an accomplished, attractive, capable, and yet even someone like her can feel pain, betrayal, and heartbreak. And we have no idea what her marriage was really like behind closed doors, the struggles, the compromises, the love, the hurt. And again, she was a very busy woman. And after having a partner for 30 years, you would think, hey, he's got my back. We got each other's back. And that's where I have to be honest, because I've lived some of these stories. I didn't have a real mother role growing up. My mom was a good mom, good wife, but for me personally, she was a mom on paper. My parents, when my dad brought my mom's family back from Cuba, my house was chaos. So my mom was there, but emotionally, she wasn't there for me. When I was 14, I told her something very personal and painful, and I expected her to protect me, but instead, she assumed I was lying. And in her defense, I did lie a lot. Again, I was a teenager, probably 13 and a half, 14. I don't remember quite sure. I expected her to protect me, but instead, like I said, she assumed I was lying. My dad adored me, and I probably could have gone to him with my story but I felt if I did that, I would bring him some legal problems. So I bounced from place to place, homes, friends. I ran away so many times that I seriously cannot count how many. And some people that know my past very few could probably laugh about that because I was everywhere, anywhere but home. And that's why I got married at 16. I mean, I thought I was in love, thought it was a fairy tale. I got married to leave a trouble home. And I thought being with someone, anyone, would give me a chance to have a life that I could control. And my husband was 7 years older than me. So I felt like, oh my God, this guy has it together. At the time, he worked for Wells Fargo, like I said in my previous measure with the weed bust. And I thought I hit. This is great. I mean, my first marriage, I tried time and time and time again from the age of 16 to 29. And I thought he adored me. Again, I was a young kid, as pretty as can be, under 100 pounds. You know, what guy 7 years older than me was going to, I felt on top of the world. Like, what guy is going to cheat on me or do anything like that when I'm everything that he ever dreamed of, supposedly. But that's not the case. I started having kids, and when you start having kids, you're home more, you can't party as much. And obviously, he was a cheater, a liar, and a drug addict. Obviously, we weren't drug addicts at the beginning, but we did use drugs quite a lot. We stayed together because of the kids, because of hope, because what I thought was love. I did not see coming what came. Like most of these women that I'm talking about today, they didn't see this coming. It's not like they could write up a script like I write here of things that are going to happen. Again, you're married for a long time. You think your buddy has your back, your husband has your back, and he loves you, and you guys share vows, and you don't think of shit like that. But in this first marriage, I thought it was love. But drugs were a huge part of our lives. And even though I tried to control what I could, it wasn't enough. I had to walk away. I had to survive. His lifestyle changed completely. I was home barefoot and pregnant, so to speak, and he was out partying with other people, and I wasn't his to-go girl anymore. So I stayed strong. We went back and forth, I don't know how many times, but it cost me my children, my sanity. And I survived, but not without the heartache and pain that brought to my life. He didn't. My first husband did not survive. He died of a drug overdose many years later. And in my mind, in my truth, if I had stayed, I could have died too. So I made the decision to leave. But not until I met another man. Then I made the same mistake again, not once, but twice. He gave me a chance to leave Florida. He didn't care about my past. Oh my God, a fresh start. I could go to Chicago. This is where his hub was. He had a good job. And I would finally know what love was. I had 2 more children with him, and I promised myself I would be the mom I wasn't able to be the first time. And for a long time, I was. And I like to think that I am. But things happen. That's what I'm trying to get at. But life doesn't stop. On the second marriage, everything was great, great family, great grandparents, something I have never seen before. It was amazing. And I thought, oh my God, this guy is the real thing. But life doesn't stop. Around 8 or 9 years into the marriage, my daughter was diagnosed with cancer. I'm sorry, I read this script a couple times and I shook up a few times. And I'm even nervous because I am opening up a can of worms, so to speak. So she was diagnosed with cancer while I was living in the hospital fighting for her life. My second husband was online doing things I never would have imagined, as witty as I am. And, some of us strong women like to think, oh, that can't happen to me. I'll do this, I'll do that. Well, it could happen to the best of us. He was online doing things that It was totally inappropriate. And I never even imagined someone could do that shit while his child was in a hospital. I thought, holy crap, now I could see this guy for what he really is. And the blinders came off. I had no thought for intimacy. I was focused on my child and my child alone, but he was doing his thing behind my back. He thinks it was behind my back. I already knew what was happening, but I had to suck it up and put my big panties out because I had a child fighting cancer. So things that were completely against my values and moral, because if there's one thing that I am is loyal to a fault, to be honest. And that's probably I kept giving chances over and over again to my first husband and to the second one. I kind of did not. I knew that it was over, but I had a child I had two child, but one was fighting cancer. I stayed because I swore I would protect my kids. I had to hold on to my truth. And when he finally said he was leaving, I didn't break. I was ready. I even said, "Can I help you pack?" And I stood my ground. But not before the slap in the face. When you find out all this stuff online and the amount of emails and the pictures and those things can break a person. I thought that I survived it because I was so involved in my daughter's cancer battle that I didn't have time to really give a fuck about what he was doing. I really didn't. So that's why I can relate to Kristi Noem. No matter how strong, beautiful, or successful a woman is, love doesn't always follow the rules. I mean, both guys that I was with, I thought they adored me. God knows I had never felt insecure about myself per se, but I felt insecure about my past because, like I said, I had so many skeletons in my closet that I felt shame. And even when my daughter got diagnosed, I thought that was God punishing me. And it had nothing to do with me. But in the moment, that's what you think. So they don't see the private pain. We don't see her private pain because she's a kind of famous person. She was a governor, then she was DHS, and now she's fired. And again, a lot of people wanted her fired, either Democrat or Republicans. Actually, me too, because I wanted to see some people get arrested and some accountability for some of these people, just like Pam Bondi with her. Oh, I'm not going to tell because if I tell the Epstein thing, the world will burn down. Well, burn it the fuck down. So no matter how strong, beautiful, successful a woman is, love doesn't always follow the rules. People see the outside. They don't see the private pain. They don't see the betrayal, the heartbreak, or the hard choices behind closed door. Kristi is likely hurting and she's probably doing the right thing, just staying quiet and just probably get together with her kids and talk about this. Because again, this marriage was 30 years. You don't think that a partner could do such a thing after 30 years. But, guys are pigs and women too. But some are pigs and they think with their, second head and they don't understand the damage that some of the stuff or some of those betrayals can cause. And maybe it was a good thing she lost her job and she gets her house in order. And I'm definitely wishing her well. And I cannot talk about this online because I would be a hypocrite. Assumptions from people who only see the surface, her money, career, stability, they make starting over a little easier. And they say time heals all wounds. Well, maybe some. But the private pain, the invisible part that stays with you for a long time. And you feel that betrayal deep. If social media existed back in the 80s, for me, I would have been crucified in the public square. But in the private square, I was. I was by my parents, my exes, and even my kids. They had a stepmom now that only knew my ex side of the story. And I can only imagine what he said about me and the things he said about me. And these are the things that my kids growing up were hearing over and over and over again. So it was my ex version of the story to make herself, and it made her feel like she needed to be that mother of my kids. And I thought at the beginning, oh, we were close, me and her. Let me get together with this lady. She's going to see right through this. And, everybody has private battles. And I thought if she only knows my side, then she knows what kind of position I was put in. But didn't happen that way. By then, she thought those were her kids. Do I blame her? Not really. My ex told his side. And if social media had been around when this happened, maybe it would have been a shit show because the fight would have gone online, which is exactly what's happening now with Kristi Noem and Erika. And again, I'm sorry. Some of these things go online and it gets amplified, and the comments, the insults, and everything just amplifies. And I can't be part of that. I don't like kicking people when they're down, especially these two strong women. And again, the only reason we are involved is because of social media and the clicks and again, and I'm not telling you that they weren't funny. I spent 2 days scrolling through all this, and I personally laughed about it. Could I have made some video and made it fun? Made it fun? Heck yes, people have. I personally couldn't have done it because it can happen to anybody. For you to come home on a great day and all of a sudden your life changes because your husband or your girlfriend or your wife is a fucking liar and you had blindfolds. I mean, and you feel like, oh my God, this is why the shame comes, because you feel I am beautiful, I am pretty, I'm smart, and I have a gut, and my gut didn't even protect me, my guardian angel, whatever you want to call it. There's no protection for that. You're blindsided completely and your world changes within an instant. Social media, everything is out. And we know, even I know, that you can get canceled, you can get so many things can happen because we've seen it with this new cancel culture that we have. I've gotten some really nasty messages too, like I'm not smart enough. Well, you know what? This is not a test. I'm not trying to be judged by anybody. I am just telling my story. You either like it or you don't. Just keep scrolling. It might hit the chord with somebody, it might not. It might flop. I don't know where this is going. I'm just letting it out. My kids, like I said, told me, Mom, I want to know your story. And I was not going to write all this. Unfortunately, and fortunately for me, some of the stuff that I went through with everyday things, it works out. It just works out for me to incorporate it with what's happening today. And that brings me to Erika. The online crusade against her, led in part by Candace. I forgot who the other guy is who's putting pictures of her fat and looking like Miss Piggy. It is totally uncalled for. It feels like a scorned ex-girlfriend scenario, but this is real life. Erika lost her husband, whether she loved him or not. I really don't give a shit. I know one thing for sure, Charlie loved her, and that should be enough for anybody. But of course, not. No, 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 no. We need to make money on this. They had children together, and no one's thinking about those kids. The internet doesn't care. But one day, these kids will grow up and read all this shit. Their daddy was an amazing man, one that I adore and miss every single day. I wish I could hear him talk again about the war in Iran, the Cuban thing, the Venezuela thing. And I would just know that I would get the truth from Charlie. I would ride his coattails forever. Everyone focuses on the clicks, the views, the viral content. But what about the human part, the moral part? How do people sleep at night knowing they are leaving a paper trail of videos that their kids will someday read? That's something I know from experience. My kids heard everybody else's story, the grandparents, the step-parents, the father's side, but mine. Not only does it hurt, but it makes you stronger. Look at me. But I am still not immune to it. Obviously, my choices in man were horrific. I got fooled. I feel shame. How could that happen to me? It could happen to anybody. This lady, that was not the case. Her husband died. He adored her. He adored her. These attacks online is not something I could get behind. I cannot. I can laugh about it when I see him because I'm human and I'm not here to tell you what you should do or not do. I'm just giving you my opinion, my perspective. And I keep saying this to everybody. If you don't like it, just keep scrolling. This is therapeutic for me. So what happened to Kristi Noem can happen to anybody. And if you're going through that, you'll get over it. You'll get through the other side. I know that while you're in the turmoil, you feel like your life is just a tornado is just going in circles and you feel lost. And oh my God, who do I tell this to? Because not only do you feel lost, you feel shame because you're witty and you're smart and you should have seen this coming. There's things that you will not see coming. When you are in a place of power or position, I'm not, but they are. People will come and tear you down. Sometimes those who are closest to you will be the ones to stab you the hardest. It's tough. It's tough because you have to weave out who can I trust? Who can I be with? I suggest that you find, hopefully you have yourself a couple of 2 or 3 friends that you could really open up to because life does get crazy. And some people will use whatever you tell them against you. And the shame just takes over you. And you feel like you cannot get out of this tornado that you're in. So I will not talk about those 2 girls. Better yet, women, strong women that they're trying their hardest to tear them down. I don't care what Kristi Noem did in her career life. I know I'm talking about her personal life. She looks like a strong woman, and I'm praying for her. Erika as well. She's got God on her side. But that doesn't mean that they're not hurting. That doesn't mean that what's happening to her hasn't happened to millions of women across the world. These sorts of things can make you or break you. And I hope that it makes them even stronger and they get through this turmoil and get through the other side, because I've been there. And I know many of you out there have been there too. You cannot be prepared when your life changes in an instant. You just have to roll with the punches, put your big panties on and get through it. So yes, Kristi, Erika, me, we face judgment, speculations, and unfair commentary. And yes, the rumors may or may not be true, but behind it all, there's a human being feeling pain. And that's the part that matters to me. That's the part I stand with. Because love, family, heartbreak, those are not clicks. Those are life, real moments. And before I close, I want to say this from my own personal opinion. Sometimes when people rise, when they gain influence, a voice, a platform, the haters come out louder. That's just reality. Power attracts attention, but it also attracts criticism and jealousy and people waiting to tear you down. And from what I have lived through, I'll say something even harder. Sometimes the people closest to you become your worst critic. The people participating in this online witch hunt, true or not, I don't care, did not love Charlie, because no one who truly loved Charlie would put his wife and his kids through this nonsense. And the other side for Noam is maybe they had a great life, great marriage. Good. I wish you nothing but the best. And I hope that you never have to go through something like this. You're right. Partners are supposed to be in sickness and in health, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you're in hell. This isn't just content for me. This isn't just clicks. This is something that will live on in the internet forever. Erika will read it, but more importantly, his children would read it at some point when they're old enough. In a classroom, another kid would say something. We all know the kids can be cruel without even trying to. It's what they hear at home, and they take it to the schools. And then we have, God knows, teachers. I don't even know about that. I'm just glad my kids are grown. But more importantly, they will read it. And one day those kids will have to process all of it and possibly judge their own mother through the lens of a stranger who never lived their lives. Think about that. My first set of kids, my first 3 kids, they saw me through the lens of a stepmother and a dad who clearly did not like me, who clearly wanted me dead, who clearly wanted me out of the picture. And as tough as it was for me, because I was heartbroken, I was concentrated on my 2 kids that I had now, and I swore that I would never do or let anything happen like the first time. But think about that for a minute. I was 16 years old, and this went on from 16 to 29. And I kid you not, if I had stayed in that marriage, I would have died right along with him. But that's not justice. That's not truth. It is complete damage, chaos. So I stand on this. Charlie loved her, and I loved Charlie. And if he were here today, I believe he would defend her with everything he's got. And if any of this is true, he would get in front of it. We wouldn't have to hear it through a third party. We wouldn't have to hear people's opinion of her, because that's what happens. They kick you when you most need faith, love. And they're going after her like she was some devil. And I can't stand with that. Now with hate, I can't do that. And I know that if he was here today, none of this would be happening. And that's the part that people are forgetting, that he's not here to defend her. And you say you love Charlie? No, you don't. You love money more than you love Charlie. And you're doing to those kids something that's despicable. And with that, guys, I am out. Thank you so much. This was a little personal for me. And again, I just gave you a couple of hints in there. You can probably assume or whatever. And if you want to ask me a question, I guarantee you that I've been through it. There's nothing that, other than a death in my life so far. But they're coming. You know, my mom is old. She's got dementia. Even though we're not close, she's still my mother. My dad's 81 years old. And I know death hits a little different, but this was not a death of health or an accident. This was an assassination of a man on TV. And this is his wife. And he loved her. And we should respect that and leave that family alone, but they won't. The clicks are too good. The jokes are funny. And the money pays the bills. But I will not participate in that. So with that, I'll bring you, I don't know what I'm doing my show next time. There's always victims. Always. Every day I open the victims, and I like to stay with the victims. I want to stay with the victims. And every now and then I'll throw something like this personal in here. And again, it takes a lot out of me because even when I write the script, I was in tears. I'm like, oh my God. And then I have to watch it. I don't hurt anybody's feelings. But at the same time, I want to be truthful to me. But some things I have to leave out. Some people are still alive. And the only one who's gone is my first husband. Some are alive still. And although I can care less what they think, trust me, I can care less. I'm 59 years old. I don't care. I just want to heal. And I tell my partner now, I don't want to be with anybody just to be with anybody. I love my partner, and settling is not an option. Don't settle, guys. If you have a strong belief, a strong moral compass, and you want your partner to be the same, make sure you iron all this out before you embark on a new relationship, because anyone can be fooled. Anyone can be blindsided. So goodbye and have a great week. Thank you.